20 to 30% increase in revenue by just following up. So if you just started being more strategic about your follow-ups and actually following up on your leads and your contacts and your clients, you would see a 20 to 30% increase in revenue just by doing that one simple thing. That is quite surprisingly, actually, why people are not doing it more. I think one of the reasons why is that salespeople are overburdened with other tasks and deadlines, and maybe they just keep on having new leads coming in through the door, and you think that, okay, if you just contact them once and they don't answer, just move on to the next. But just imagine if you could automate your follow up so you wouldn't have to spend time. So while you're on driving on the road, while you are eating your lunch, while you're on vacation, you could still follow up with leads and you could see this 20 to 30% increase in revenue. So salespeople spend only one third of the time actively selling. So that means right now you're paying, just imagine all the salespeople that you have on your payroll in your company right now. So what you're paying for is not 100% of the time going into selling. The pay you're actually giving them, you only pay for 33% of the time when it comes to sales. So that means if you have sales reps and you would like them to spend more time selling so you can grow your business, get more clients, have more revenue, well, you should know this, that they're only spending one third of the time now. That's what the statistics are saying. And the question is, how can you then help these salespeople spend more than one third of the time actively selling? If you ask salespeople, a lot of the times the challenges they have is that they spend a lot of time of admin work, planning, just searching for the people to contact. So they're scrambling through their email or their calendars or Googling to find the companies that they have to reach out to. Or if you have some inbound lead generating machine right now, if you're running paid ads or you're getting leads through price calculators or ebooks that they can download or whatever, then maybe they're spending too much time searching through these leads. Which ones should they hit? Which ones should they not? Are they qualified or not? Usually, salespeople who like what they're doing do just like to be out in touch with people. They like to communicate. They like to be present with people. And so, by trying to remove a lot of the admin work and planning work and just serving them the leads that they should be working on, so they can just be on the phone all the time, writing to them emails, being on the road, visiting people, then you would probably see a big increase in your revenue. 28% revenue comes from new biz, while only 72% comes from, or while 72% comes from existing clients. So just think about that for a second. This was a statistic that came out from Hubspot. Hubspot, they gather data from hundreds of thousands of businesses using Hubspot. So, you could probably count on that to some degree. So if that's true, that 28% of revenue comes from new biz, while 72% of your revenue right now is coming from your existing clients, what should you do about that? First of all, you should probably just sit down and think that the reason why your doors are open, the reason why your business exists, is because of the clients that you already have in your portfolio right now. And usually people, they spend a lot of money and resources on getting new clients, which makes sense, right? Because usually you want to take more market share to grow and scale the business that you have. But you should not neglect the easy wins of selling or upselling, renewing or cross-selling to your existing clients. And a lot of business, they just don't prioritize this, because maybe they just don't think about it, or, they spend a lot of their energy trying to get new biz because they feel like that is what will grow their business. And in some sense, of course it is, but you can still increase your business by, let's say you could add 20% of revenue each month because you just went to your existing clients to sell them a little bit more or expand the service that they're getting. Usually it's the people that already trust you. You're already provided value for them. They know who you are, they know what you're about, they know what you do. And sometimes simply just by selling some automated emails, it could even be, you will have an increase in revenue because people would just say, yeah, let's do it. It's a little bit harder to do with a cold audience. So if you just send an email out to cold prospect, hey, would you like to buy this service? They'll be like, listen, I don't know you, which is the biggest problem. But if they did know you, and that is also why people, they build, personal brands, to make people recognize them and know them before they even try selling to them, because the trust factor is a huge benefit, of course, when it comes to selling. So before we jump to the next tip, I just want to say thank you and I appreciate you for watching the video so far. If you think I've deserved it, if you think that what I'm saying is making sense and it's helped you in some sense, I hope you will consider maybe giving a like, maybe even subscribing. It would mean the world to me. It will help me out do more of the stuff that I do. Only if you think I deserve it, of course. We're not looking for any handouts here. So let's continue the video. How should you follow up with your leads to get more appointment books, to get more sales ultimately? You know, statistically, people saying that you should send 5 emails and you should have 6 calls made to them. And there's even another statistic saying that 95% convert on the 6th call. So that means the money is in the follow up. So if you are thinking like, okay, I want to follow up, but I don't know how to, well, the statistic is saying there should be 5 emails and 6 calls to say that you actually followed up with the lead. And then I would even say after that, you could put them on a more long-term follow-up. So maybe once a month, once every second month, or something like that, once every year even you could do. But the money is really in the follow-up. So just imagine that you enabled your salespeople to have that power to follow up. And what the problem with follow-ups, I think, is that it's a lot of manual work usually for the salespeople, right? They have so many people, so many balls in the air they have to administrate. They don't have the brain juice left to think about, oh man, now I sent this guy the third email. In 2 days, I should remember to send another email and make a call to that person. Nobody can nobody can handle that and administrate that and keep that overview. And then they'd say, oh, well, I'm really strict with my calendar and my email, so no email goes unturned. That's okay. But what if it's an email that was opened already? And what if you made a calendar event to remember yourself, you should call this lead or, reach out to this lead? Something in that day where that calendar event will be, something will happen that you can't control, and then you forget about that event in your calendar and you haven't set it as a recurring event, so you just forget about it, right? Leads fall through the cracks of businesses all the time, and I see this a lot. So that means just resources being spent that is built. That means money left on the table because you're not following up, and the money is in the follow-up. So within sales, I really believe that timing and following up is what will make you crush your competitors. I have an example. I signed up for a price calculator at some marketing agency. And then 2 days later, first, I got a call from some sales rep asking me about, my interest in the price calculator. I've forgotten all about that price calculator and everything. So your odds for converting a lead actually statistically falls 10x after 1 hour. And then it drops with another 400x after 24 hours. So that's the timing part, right? So that means like if you're not reaching out to your leads that are signing up for something in your company within the first hour, your chances of converting that lead to appointment will fall with 10 times. So that's insane. And if you wait 24 hours or 2 days, in my case, that drops by another 400 times, right? So timing is everything. But then you say, okay, yeah, I know all that. I know timing is everything. But how will we make sure that we hit people at the right times? Because I know that salespeople are busy. Salespeople are on the road and they can't just call leads all the time, like every minute of every day because it's the right timing. So I totally appreciate that. So what I say you could do, you could have automated follow-ups. So as soon as a lead comes through your doors, so to speak, digitally, you could have automated emails being sent out, and then you follow up emails with a few days in between. So at least you have some touch points. And then also that should create tasks in your calendar for you to remember you by, to actually call them. And if you forget to call them one day, that task will still be in your CM system telling you, hey, deadline is breached. Do you want to set a new deadline, or just remembering you to do it? So instead of you having it in the calendar view and you forget that one day and then it's just in the past and you're gone, you have 400 other things to do, then it's forgotten. Or you in your CRM system, you can have your manager help you out to plan your day, because the manager can also see, hey man, I see you have 10 leads now that should have been called yesterday. Are you too busy? Then I'll hand it over to another sales rep so you guys can help each other out. And that will be a really nice thing for the management level, not as just to whip your salespeople into place and just like work, call, but actually be a leader that can help your team to manage more sales and manage more follow-ups and helping each other out. Another thing is that you can just have a salesperson just sit every day and their only job is to just follow up the leads that's coming through, so they can do it immediately. Even others is saying if you can do it within 5 minutes of people signing up, that's your best chance of converting them to an appointment. 35 to 50% of sales will go to the first responder. So timing is everything in sales. And that's again one of the previous posts I made about this, that you need to be one of the first to answer. You need to be super active and you need to show up for your leads, because that will, first of all, it will show that you're interested in them, helping them out, because you're eager, you're passionate about it. Passionate people, they jump at the opportunity to help somebody out with what they love to do. And it's the same thing in sales. So when people, they sign up for something, or they ask a question or something like that, you need to be the first responder to make sure that 35 to 50% of sales will go to you. That's an insane amount. Just imagine that, like at the highest, it's 50% of sales that will come to you just by you being the first to respond to them. That is insane. So timing is really everything in sales. And again, I had an example where I signed up for a price from a marketing agency. 2 days later, I get a phone call from the sales rep. Of course, I get an email right away saying, "Hey, man, this is the price for what you were requiring about." But then 2 days later, first, I get a call. So just imagine that I'm the lead here, right? And you have competitors who does the exact same thing. They also have a price calculator. Let's say that I just want to see the best price. So of course, I'm going to do the price calculator at 5 different agencies, right? Just imagine one of the agencies, they call me as the first one, right? So maybe within 1 hour, I get a call from that agency and they really try to help me out. And in that moment when I was sitting there doing the price calculator, that's when I had all my questions and had all my ideas about why I was doing that or what I was interested in exact. So I'm still in that same mindset of, price calculating and thinking about what I should buy and the prices. And I'm in that buying, purchasing mindset right there. So imagine a salesperson then calls me up, I pick up the phone, I'm ready to talk because I'm already having the thoughts. So it's a service from the salesperson to me to actually help me out getting these answers. And then I build some trust with this person. And then let's say, it's very generic questions I might have about the services, right? So I get my answers here from the first guy who's responds to me. And then 2 days later, I get a call from one of the other agencies. And first of all, I'm not in the purchasing mindset. Second of all, I got the answers I was looking for to make a buying decision. So I don't really have anything to discuss with him unless he's really good at giving me some new perspective on. But that's a harder sell for the salesperson to do instead of having like a blank canvas lead, you can say. That is why timing is super, super important in sales. And why and how the hell should you get the timing right? Well, first of all, how do you know when a sales or when a lead is signing up for something? So you get a prompt like, okay, now it's time, there's a new lead, we should act on it. Do you just get an email sent around like, hey, there's a new lead? Well, that's, first of all, if that's what's going on, you'll have an inbox that's just filled with it. I mean, if you're doing a good job of lead generation, of course, but you are if you want to be a scaling business. And then you have to scroll through your email, and then maybe your leader is qualifying the leads and sort them and sending them around, like forwarding those emails to the right sales rep. But you will still have an email that is filled with these leads on an email that's maybe mixed in with your other emails from your existing clients and other stuff you have to do. It's a mess, and you're gonna spend time thinking about that, and that is really not what you should do, because then you're wasting your energy on administrative work, which is the last thing a salesperson should do. Somebody else should do it for you, or a system should do it for you. So you should get a CRM that can send out a notification on a mobile app, maybe, so it's not within your calendar in your email, right? It should be somewhere else, so it's like separated. So you have your email that's for whatever stuff you're doing with your existing clients and stuff like that, or prospecting. And then you have another place that's like, okay, this is the inbound leads that you should act on in a timely manner. But even better than that, you should probably just have a sales rep just sitting there every day and just making sure they are the first to call them. So a team of people or one guy, depending on how many leads you get, they're just sitting every day and just making sure that they call the lead within 5 minutes. Bottlenecks in sales. I think that a lot of B2B businesses, especially where there's a process where they get a lead in and then they need to book an appointment, and then there's the sales process there where there's a one lost deal in the end. In that sales situation, there's a few bottlenecks that I think a lot of B2B businesses are not really thinking about. I hear a lot of B2B businesses, they're not happy about the revenue that they're making at the current moment. And then they say, Well, the biggest problem is that we're not getting enough leads, or we're not getting enough qualified leads. If that's the only aspects you think there are to the sales process, then you're going to run into some other bottlenecks that you're not even thinking about, and then you're going to apply your resources maybe to wrong places. So let me explain what I mean with this. So I would say bottlenecks in a sales process could be not enough leads, not enough qualified leads, not enough appointments booked with these qualified leads, low close rate on the qualified leads that have booked an appointment, and then a low average deal value. That means, like, what is the average amount of money that you collect whenever you close a deal. So that's the few bottlenecks. Each of them requires different solutions. So let's say the problem is actually you're getting enough leads, but the lead quality is low. You need to have more qualified leads. Well, then the solution is not to just ramp up your ad spend, let's say, to get more leads. It's actually making sure that the ads and the copy is referring to the right people, or your ad target groups are set to the right segments, so you get more qualified leads. So, okay, let's say you solve that problem. Now you get enough leads and enough of them are qualified, but you can see that, we're just not booking enough appointments with people. Okay, well, what is the problem then? You might think the salespeople are not closing enough deals, but that is maybe not the problem. The problem is we just don't have enough appointments booked, because our close rate is actually fine, but we just don't have enough selling opportunities, enough appointments booked to actually close more deals. Okay, so let's say that you thought it was the close rate that was the problem, and then you start training your salespeople. They're already well trained, they know what they're doing, so you're wasting time, you're wasting their time by training them out. What you should do is making sure you have enough appointments booked. And then so that means you should apply more follow up strategies. You should apply maybe a sales rep to just make sure they call the lead within 5 minutes, or at least within an hour of the lead signing up to book more appointments. And you need to have enough follow ups. You need to have 5 emails and 6 calls, and before you can say you statistically have made enough follow ups, because 95% of conversions actually happens on the sixth call that you make. So that is why I mean you need to be sure of where the bottleneck is in your sales process. And I see many B2B people, they don't have that data available, or at least they're not using it, or they're not thinking about these bottlenecks. Usually what you hear them say is, we're just not getting enough leads. Don't waste your resources. Apply your resources at the right places. And especially in today's world, where it's so easy to get access to this data, so you can get a real-time, instantly updated view every day of how the sales process is going in your business, and where you need to apply yourself and your resources.